if anybody doesn't know, Air is the story about the Nike basketball division and them building basically their most popular shoe line, the Air Jordan, around Michael Jordan, and how that all came to be. And it's directed by Ben Affleck, and he's in it, and Matt Damon stars.
Matt Damon and Chris Tucker and Jason Bateman.
And it was like, if you like movies where, you know, the end title scenes is like, it's
and
like
this character did this 50 years from now.
Yeah. It's pretty much one of them.
Right.
So
but, yeah, I mean, and if you like biopic kind of movies, like about like music artists, I feel like this is kind of in the same line. Yeah. But yeah, I
very
thought,
like Social Network sort of thing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's an even better comparison. But yeah, I thought this movie was done so well. Like, I feel like on almost all counts, like there was only like a few little like nitpicks I think I have, but I think the comedy, like obviously it's not a comedy like Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm not like laughing at my ass like of the seat here, but like yeah, I think it was funny and it like really worked. I think the dynamics between like Phil Knight and Sonny Vaccaro like worked really well, and that's just because Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are probably so in tune with each other.
But even Matt Damon's character and Jason Bateman's was really surprising.
Or even him and Chris Tucker,
Oh, like, yeah. I mean, I was surprised with I was really surprised with how much emotional depth they gave Jason Bateman's character with his daughter.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That was like that gave like the way that they introduced that into the story.
It was supernatural.
Yeah, it was natural, but it made you think differently, like, because Damon's character is just like, I need to do this thing.
Right.
It's going
to kill me if I don't do it.
And I don't, like, I'm not thinking about other people. And then you are like, oh, this has real consequences.
Yeah. No, that was a really beautiful scene. I mean, there was quite a few scenes that Matt Damon had that was like, I wouldn't say that kind of emotion, but it was like he had like long scenes of dialogue where he was like fighting to get like someone to say yes to his idea, or like to get a meeting with Michael Jordan. And like he had one with Phil Knight and one with Jason Bateman's character, and it was just like every time he would do it, and like and he had one at the very end when he was speaking directly to Michael Jordan. Like every time he would have a great like scene of dialogue, and it was heavy. It worked really well.
Yeah, I don't know if Ben wrote the script, but whoever wrote the speeches for Damon were, I mean, they were
really good.
Yeah, and I think it was important early on to show that he would go to Vegas a lot and bet. Because he's like a gambler.
He's a gambler. And this is the biggest gamble of his life, right?
And I think it was important to see that like he wasn't winning the bets.
Yeah, right. Well, because it's even a good bettor doesn't win every bet. So,
no, I know, but like the fact that like it was at least introduced to me that like he likes to gamble, but like has he been
successful?
Has he been successful?
Yeah.
Or at least successful lately.
Right.
And
then didn't seem like it happened.
So this seems like, oh, this guy like thinks this thing's gonna happen, and he's really just losing his mind.
Right. Yeah. No, that's a good way to like, obviously we knew how the story turned out. So I wasn't like, that wasn't in my mind that he was like, well, this might be some crap gamble, but
yeah, I will like, if this was any other movie where like, I didn't know the outcome.
Right.
The suspense would be killing me. Like absolutely killing
truly,
me.
Yeah. I guess that was a part of it too. That it was just such a nice ride because you knew, I guess the stress of the ending wasn't like so on your mind the entire movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think because this was set in like 1984, the movie, I feel like some movies play into the time period too much, but this movie, I don't think
it felt pretty subtle with it.
They were.
I mean, the only thing that wasn't subtle was the soundtrack. And
I love the soundtrack.
But the soundtrack was amazing. So I have no complaints with the soundtrack.
Yeah. I will like they played a lot of music.
Yeah.
Maybe
a lot.
Too much.
Too much, I agree. Yeah.
But everything about it, like they didn't like do anything that was like, whoa, like that's such an 80s thing. I mean, maybe with like the clothes that Phil wears or like the car he drives, but that was about it.
That was more, I feel like, just a shit. What do I call that? Like a, wow, I'm totally blanking. Just like they were symbolizing him. Like that wasn't a factor of the 80s. That was just like a factor of it being Phil Knight, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay.
It's just like everything else was like, it looked 80s, but it wasn't like so
super 80s, right?
Yeah.
In your face.
It looked like this weird, because I mean, I didn't live through that time, but like it had like these like quirky, bright colors at times, and yet like a lot of people were wearing very like dull-ish clothes, or at least like in the Nike headquarters, like it was,
I mean, and you would expect to see duller clothes in a business, you know?
No, I agree. Yeah. It's hard to describe.
No, I agree.
It was like, I don't know. It felt, I don't know.
It worked.
I don't know what I'm saying. It was nice though. It felt like it was a real time.
Yeah, and I guess like the last thing I'll say, like two last things I'll say on it is that you really felt the entire movie that it was this fight for Matt Damon or Sonny Vaccaro to get a meeting with Michael Jordan to get, convince everyone around him that this was a good idea. And I loved feeling that, like that we were in like the trenches with him. I think my one kind of complaint is that the like not having an actor for Michael Jordan got a little awkward at points for me. Like it just felt obvious that they were trying to avoid him. And I think it might have helped if like there was somebody maybe speaking in that role. But I understand it's hard to cast somebody in that role. I get it.
Yeah. I think there was times where it would have been nice, but to be honest, the way that they did it, I liked it.
Yeah.
And like the way that he was like, most of the time it was him showing like he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to take the meeting. He didn't want to talk.
Sure.
It
worked.
Played into it.
Right.
And it worked for me. I also loved the color grading of the movie.
Yeah. No, that was really good.
Like very blue, but like slightly blue. It was very nice. It was very cool to like the intro where it was like all these like 80s pop culture moments that was obviously on like VHS and old looking, and they would cut it in where it would look like similar footage of like the Nike office and the characters and the actors. And then you get to the basketball, like the high school basketball thing that Matt Damon's at, and they slowly through cuts like get it to be a bit more like higher quality like movie,
right
but like
and that was a good transition.
With the color grading that they chose, like it all fit this like time period.
I'll have to watch that intro again. Really well done movie though.
Really good. One of my more favorite ones that Ben's done in a while.
Oh yeah,
so,
nice. I'd say one of my favorites of this year.
Definitely one of the favorites of the year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening to our podcast today. We are at Last Week This Week on our social medias if you want to check us out there on Instagram and TikTok. We're also on YouTube at Last Week This Week if you want to check out our reviews and shorts, and our longer podcasts are uploaded there as well. Our shorts are also on TikTok and Instagram as Reels. And if you want to leave us a comment, a rating, if you liked what you heard today and you want to support us, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yep. We're still waiting on a rating.
Well, I will say, people like I was told by a friend that they reviewed it and it just hasn't showed up. So I think we might be getting reviews. We just have to get a certain amount of reviews for it to show up.
Okay. All right. Well,
so yes,
maybe
I guess
send us give us a review so we can have our first review.
Yeah, so we can keep keep showing up or show up at one point.
And we will take a picture. We will put it on our Instagram and we will frame it.
Absolutely.
So if you want to be the first one.
Yeah, I'm sure the dates will show up on the review, maybe. So
hopefully.
Hopefully.
But yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
And until next time.